All right. Happy Monday. We have a difficult daily update to talk about today, and it's something that needs to be said. So I'll give everyone a chance to come on and get their notifications because this is going to be some real talk, some real authentic talk here. Not that it isn't typically, it actually is so much more real talk than what most people can handle. And and you're giving me some flack for that, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I hate censorship. I hate having to monitor my channel. I don't like the idea of turning off comments. I love for people to be able to voice their opinions about my work. I love for people to be able to give me constructive criticism, right? I love to be able to have people you've been so supportive. Most of you have been very supportive, but every year around this time, people get their knickers all up in a wad and shit goes down. Right? So we're going to talk about this. And I'm going to put this out here. It's going to be a little difficult for me to talk about some of the things that are going on behind the scenes. Now, granted, the majority of you, um, most of the time, are incredibly supportive and loving, right? And I want to be able to stay working here and offering, my channelings and my teachings and my light language activations, my music, all of it. I want to be able to continue doing this because not everyone can afford to go on over to my Patreon channel. That $13 a month is a big deal for people who don't have food and for people in other countries who are struggling with just heating their homes and being able to afford bread and milk, right? And proper organic vegetables. I get that. But lately, when it comes to me being able to be fully authentic, you guys give me full expression for it. And then you bite me in the ass for it afterwards. I'm going to give you a list of some of the things you've recently said because, and I let through all the beautiful, wonderful, supportive comments as well. So you can see them there. They're tons more positive than it would be negative, but the negative is so insane. Some of the things that are being said um, just are mean. It's just mean and not constructive and distracting from the light of truth that I am trying to shine and portray to you on this planet. And some of it is so mean that it's just like, it's heartbreaking. Some of the things you've said recently, particularly over the Princess Diana channeling and over yesterday's predictions, right? And I've always told you with predictions, I am a prophetic seer. I'm a clairvoyant. I'm really good at world predictions. And as you've noticed throughout the years, if you go back and listen to them, there's only like one thing I said would happen that didn't in all those years. One thing. Got bashed for it like crazy with that one thing that I was wrong about. And the rest of the things were accurate. And I never had anyone coming back and saying, that was hard, but thank you for telling the truth because that was accurate and I needed to know. I don't get that. I just get the, holy cow, why did you say that? That's so negative. You're supposed to be fluffy and full of all love and light all the time. And here's the other thing I'm hearing, not just from my viewers, but from colleagues in the industry. As many of you know, one of the reasons why I left channeling Eric is because other psychics were coming to me and saying, you need to toughen up, you need to change, you need to be tougher, you need a tough skin if you want to be in this industry. And I'm here to tell you right now that is never going to happen. Just like how I won't tell you who to be and who you should be in order to be in your field of work on this planet. I want you to know that I am vulnerable. I am a softie in my heart. You can say things and troll me, and I'm oblivious to being trolled. You guys saw me completely being trolled yesterday by somebody. I forgot her name, but she gave my moderators hell. And I'm not really used to that. I'm not used to this type of attention or fame. It wasn't something that I ever really wanted in my lifetime. I don't care to be famous. I don't care if I ever hit my 100 subscribers. You know, And I have been doing this for 10 years prior to when I was on YouTube, which is a total of 24 and a half years of teaching and channeling. Um, so if I quit YouTube, the only thing that's going to do is bring you to Patreon, and then you'll have to find me perhaps on Instagram and other things. It won't be a big deal for me. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to take this from you. Um, but I need to be able to be 100% truthful and authentic about the visions that I'm getting and in how I teach. I need that support from you because it's just so disheartening and it's so painful when I've got all these poison darts coming in my direction behind the scenes in your comments in particular. And it's just so disheartening when I turn on live chat and I have people trolling me on purpose, and giving no respect and reverence to the channel while I'm trying to keep live chat on so that I can interact with you and answer your questions. And it does take a lot of energy, to do trance channeling, to do regular channeling, to do predictive forecasting. That is very difficult on the body. As you've noticed, it's hard to maintain good health. But what I refuse to do overall, I'm willing to make that sacrifice for you. But what I'm not willing to do is to make the sacrifice of um, being told that I should be tougher and being told that I should handle very non-constructive, painful name calling, shaming, being compared to other teachers and being told what makes my prediction right and their prediction wrong, which I never say anything about anyone else's predictions. I don't listen to them, right? I don't want to change for you is what I'm saying. I want you to just take it as it is. And if you don't resonate, um, why do you even type out I don't resonate? What's the point? Why wouldn't you just respect the channel and keep scrolling? Why do you find the need to find negative criticism? So let's go over some of the things that I've been getting. Wrote it all down for you. And I'm going to explain a little bit. And I want this to be received warmly because if it's not, I have some big decisions to make professionally with my work on this planet. Okay. And I don't want it to come to that. Comments may or may not remain on for this particular thing. They'll remain on until I receive negativity, and then I'm just going to shut down. I can handle negativity if it's constructive and said in a loving way. I let that through, as if you'll notice. I did on the last channeling. Some of the things were really I disagreed with, but it's your opinion and I let it through. I don't censor to that degree, right? But I have to have up to 3 moderators. Things get so bad. Yesterday was one of the worst things that people were saying in live chat, not to mention it even got harder afterwards. So let's talk about it. I was being told that I give misinformation about vaccines. I actually don't. I didn't even mention that word in yesterday's channeling. Everyone can make their own assumptions, but I won't typically mention those kind of words. There's only been 3 times that I've ever talked about those things, 2 of which were on Patreon, not here, right? And the one time I even alluded to something like that was yesterday, but I did not say it. I let you come up with your own conclusions, and I geared you towards how to find the research to support the prediction that the angelics were warning me about, right? So I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm not pro-vaccine. I nothing vaccines. I have no opinion on vaccines, okay? Don't hate me for this, but I had to travel online and I had to make a big decision, right? And I chose the wrong one for my body, but the right one for my relationship. And I'm still transmuting that stuff to this very day. And it led me down a deep path of research. It led me down, granted, I did what I had to do to travel to be with my fiance, now wife, right? But I also thought, hey, if I do this and I transmute it, I will also help people and be able to come back and tell you exactly how I transmuted it. And I'm still working on it. This has been tricky, very tricky. So you would have done what you would have done in that situation. at the same time, if you were due to be married and you couldn't see your wife because she's clear across the world, you would have done what you would have to done. Okay. I've had people say things like, you're now going to become AI, and now the vaccine is going to shed off of you onto other people, and I refuse to be around you. I've lost friends for that decision. And I'm not even for or against vaccines. I just did what I had to do to be able to travel to see my wife, which was at the time in COVID what you had to do. And then because of how it started to affect my body, I began to do my research and ask. I don't just give you predictions. I will research them too. I do both for you. And the research was incomplete. And I began to wonder, because Metatron was saying, why is this research incomplete? Why are they showing you research for people who are unvaccinated versus people who are vaccinated? Why don't we have research about people who are vaccinated? We just wondered. We didn't allude to anything. He just said, I wonder. Do your thinking. Make up your own mind. Right? Make up your own mind is what he said. He didn't say anything for it. He didn't say anything against it. He said, do your research. Right? How did I transmute it? It's a work in progress. Right. But on my Patreon channel, I actually have been experimenting with a recipe that I have shared that is herbal. And then there's been a lot of light codes and light work that I've been doing, most of which I've given to you. And I didn't tell you that it was for that, but it is for that, particularly the one that I did 2 days ago here on this channel. Those are the same codes I'm using that are actually healing me. And when I did that, it was just something that could help you that's been helping me. So a lot of this work I have to do behind the scenes. Okay. So I don't give misinformation about vaccines. I give predictions and advice from my team of angelics. And then I go and I research what they're saying to validate it scientifically. I don't just put it out there. So that was not fair, for those of you who said that. Okay. All those light codes are on my light code activation, that Syrian and Lemurian that I did 2 days ago. They are visual and spoken. Yeah. Yeah. Another thing, it's not my timeline. It's not my timeline. This is too negative. It's not my timeline. I claim my sovereignty. Great. Great. I'm glad you were saying those things. It's not exactly negative, but I did want to address it. I want you to tell me what you're doing about it, because what the angelics have shared with me is we collectively create timelines. We aren't, and I hate to tell you this, I really do, but this is the information I'm getting. We're not powerful enough as individuals to say you can escape an entire collective billion people timeline of 9 billion people. You're not there yet. Unless you're completely enlightened and sitting in a robe in an ashram somewhere. Now, are you? I'm not. We're not there yet, which is why I give you this work. We are meant to transmute this collectively, and it's going to take more than sending love and light, saying fluffy things, and sitting in meditation. We are going to have to change our practical lives. That is the underlying theme of how to change a timeline. Is not only do you send love and light and sit in meditation, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're just doing that and you're doing nothing else to change your personal life and those around you, you are a hypocrite. You hear me? Do something about it. Don't just sit there and talk to me about it, light workers. We can transmute things with sacred action, right? But what you want for me to do, according to the feedback, is to sit there and be fluffy and tell you all the higher timelines and the reasons for it. And I've tried that, and it didn't get us anywhere collectively. When I've told you that, you said you wanted something more specific. And then when I give you something more specific and practical, you say you just want the higher timeline, and therefore I must be fraudulent. I can't win for losing here. Do you see where I'm going with this? So that's another thing you said. It's too specific and not speaking to what's going on with higher purposes behind the scenes in the galactic families. If you watch my work at all, you will see me speaking to that purpose almost every single time with what's truly going on behind the scenes. But the last time I gave you predictions, because my predictions used to be mainly about the overall frequency and what we're transmuting, and I do that every January. That's not what this is. This is just the predictions and the forecasting that I've seen in prophecy, what I'm seeing. The frequency read for the collective for 2023 will be out in January. I do that every year, and I do this every year in December. Okay? So, but I'm darned if I do and I darn if I don't, because you don't wait on that. You just say, that was too specific. And then when I give you the next one in January, you often say, well, I need more practical things that I can do. And then when I give you practical things that you can do, you say, well, I'm just going to send love and light to it. It can be all those things, friends. It can be all these things. And as a matter of fact, we're not going to shift timelines without all those things. It's time for us to step into sacred action together. So many people are just turning on YouTube and that's their spirituality for the day on the drive home from work. What are you changing underneath the roofs of your home is what the guide said. What are you changing in your body? What are you changing in your mindset? What are you changing about the way you live? About how you care for your own needs and for those around you and for the planet, right? So the idea of becoming keyboard warriors and just spreading awareness, that was 2020. And we are all aware now. We're waking up fast. 2023 is about doing something about it and putting your money where your mouth is. Okay. The next thing, I've been accused of having a political leaning. I absolutely do not. If you know me at all, if you follow my work at all, I will barely vote most of the time. And if I do, it'll be for a third party. It will never be Democrat and it will never be Republican for a reason. I do not get involved in those level of politics until Metatron comes through and says, actually, this is a big message. Let me help you spread it in a way that is the middle way. And he always does that if I have to do it, right? We've come a long way since 2020. So it is that. Yeah, and please don't tell me not to be affected by it or to be less sensitive or to grow a thicker skin or to not let it get to me. I don't want to hear that. It does get to me. I am human. And I still cry when I see an animal hurting. And I cry when I see children hurting. I cry when I see the work that I do behind the scenes, particularly in regards to children. I'm about to go see Avatar on Wednesday. Y'all better hold some space for me on that. I can already tell I'm going to cry. And it's going to be one of those cries that's like, holy cow, the disclosure. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad they talked about it, which is the same thing I did in that movie that recently came out. What was it? Strange World. But I actually don't have a political leaning, and nothing I say will ever have a political leaning. You can count upon that. I don't have that kind of inflection in anything. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I didn't vote for Trump or Biden, right? And if someone new other than these two people don't come in, I'm not voting at all. Someone new has to come in that actually is going to make a change and not just talk about it or wind people up. I'm not for either one of them. So people are expecting me to join the Trump team or to join the Biden team, and I am on neither. And if that disappoints you, I am sorry, but I'm not going to be different for you. I'm not going to join on this QAnon bandwagon, because I'm sorry to say that most of the QAnon things that you say are coming true, like Princess Diana. Be more respectful. I am a medium who talks to dead people. Yes, she is dead. I grieved it when she died in the same way I would grieve a living person, and I watched her energy leave this world and then come back to be around her children and grandchildren. But regardless, she's gone. And don't tell me things that haven't been evidenced, like you telling me that Diana is alive and JFK is alive. I've publicly channeled them both. And until they step forth and say, here I am, And I don't want to hear any day now. You QAnons have been telling me that for 15 years. Any day now, you're going to see that Diana is still alive. Any day now, there's going to be a huge announcement of JFK coming through. Right? Okay, well, wait, I'll wait on the day, I guess. Right? When is that day going to happen? Am I even going to still be alive then? How old would JFK actually be if he were alive? Just think about that logically for a minute. Think about it. How old would he be? And why are you putting your energy towards something that, and you're going to knock down an entire channeling based upon you thinking that the person I'm channeling is still alive. So you're going to knock down my channeling. Do you know how many QAnons were on my comments for the Diana channeling saying, I don't believe you now. I don't trust you now because she's actually dead. So now I don't trust you as a teacher and a channel. Heartbreaking. All because of that, I could lose your support. All because of channeling JFK and Diana. Yeah. People in chat are going, that's crazy. Yes, it is. It's insane. And I'm not going to bend my authenticity and my truth for how it comes through me because you want me to jump on some bandwagon of a bunch of predictions that actually haven't happened. None of Q's predictions actually come true. And you're still on it. Right? So if I feel like I am one of the only channels that's brave enough to talk about this, then I'm not a Q supporter. And I lost like 200 subscribers since then. When I said that, they were like just gone. Right? So no, it would be one thing if it was just trolls. These are people that have supported me a long time, just dropping off because I don't believe in Q and because I channeled Diana and they think she's dead. It's not just trolls doing it. That's the thing. I could tolerate it more when I knew that it was just trolls. You know? Some of the things you're saying in chat right now are about to make me cry. It's so beautiful, and I'm not going to even try to hold that back. But I feel like I can't win for losing with the amount of conspirituality that has infiltrated this social media platform. That I see that coming in, you know, on popular teachers that you trust talking about this stuff as if it is the truth. And I feel for you. And I'm not one of those popular teachers. I'm not very well known. So I have an uphill battle in bringing you back to sanity and bringing you back to real truth and bringing you back to what really matters. And believe me, it's not Q stuff. That movement was wonderful, but it was a psyop. And you need to know it for what it is. Right? And on my channel, I'm not going to tolerate it anymore because it is the Pamela Aaralyn channel. What's different about me is that I do everything live and I make it about you. So I'm not going to stop caring about what you think or get thicker skin, you know, or change myself and my particular vulnerability, because that's a part of what makes me be able to channel, is to be able to connect with you and actually be able to read the chat. Right? What the heck is Q? I'm glad you're asking that question. Don't go look it up. Don't. It's a waste of time. I have lost friends in my personal circle because of this. One of my friends who strongly believes in this barely even talks to me anymore. And I miss her. You know, I've had volunteers quit working for me because I don't believe in Q. It's gotten serious. Like you can go to your grandmother these days and she'll be upset because you don't believe in Q. And then she'll say, aren't you woke? Your grandmother's. Right? So I'm getting a lot of this. I'm hearing a lot of your truth is too negative for me. I'm out. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, why? Why do you need to announce your departure? This isn't an airline. You know, why do you need to hurt me on the way out the door and do a little snipe thing? You know, pull out while you're leaving. Why? You know, the woke community is destroying YouTube, and it has infiltrated some of the finest teachers, or what used to be the finest teachers. Right? It used to be. And now what? Now you're all waiting on something to happen that Q said, or that some conspirituality It's a cult and it's a psyop. It's not happening. The predictions aren't happening. Why are we still on it? Getting a lot of people from QAnon attacking the crap out of my YouTube. This is why I'm still talking about it right now. There's just so much of it on there. So do what works for you. But I refuse to conform to that. I refuse to let that bleed into my channel. And I've lost subscribers for it, and I don't care. I'm fully supported by my patrons. Very supported. Not rich, not poor. I get by, right? And it won't hurt me to just be going back to doing 7, 8, 9, 10 readings a day versus just, quitting this channel. So I'll do what I need to do if I have to do it. Don't push me off this channel. Another thing I'm getting is the aliens are protecting us. Now, that's not negative or positive. It's just an opinion. I will tell you that I get channelings that say, yes, that's true, and no, that isn't true. There are times when that's true, and then there are specific times when that isn't true. You wanted to not have a shield. You wanted to not have a veil around this planet so that you could have greater access to the galactics. And with the lessening of that veil and its departure came less protection, right? It was like on this earth, everything is polarizing. It just is because that's Earth. That's how life is here. And you will always see it. And the moment it goes into a cycle of healing, there'll be another cycle of war. That's the truth. That's how it always will be. And you can be going and living in your 5D timeline, but you will still see war and genocide and rape and governments being nasty and horrible things, because there are people in the third density experiencing that are expanding from that, and they are choosing to expand from that. And if certain galactic collectives, like if the Galactic Federation or the Council of Nine comes in and says, oh, we're going to protect you from that, guess what? They've just intervened. An intervention is only allowed in certain cases anymore. It's only allowed when it's genuinely helpful and in alignment with your expansion. So if you've chosen to expand in a unique way, and this is what I call a level teaching. You can't be attached to the way you want spirituality to be in order to understand this teaching. Okay? But because Earth is polarizing and catalyzing and dualistic, people learn in that way. There's no other way to expand but that way. And if you come in and have the galactics say, protect them from that, shield them from that, if they intervene and take that from you, you are not going to spiritually expand. This is why, the extraterrestrial groups can only help you, to a certain extent. Otherwise, they are intervening in your soul's divine will and what your soul divinely wants. Do you understand that? This means you're always going to see war on this planet. That is the truth. Another thing I'm getting is so-and-so from another channel said the opposite, and that person will have like 100, 200, 300, 4,000 subscribers. Therefore, I don't trust what you say. Okay, great. Go to that channel, not mine. All I got to say. Don't leave comments on the way out. I really don't care. It's very rare that I follow other people's work. Very rare. And if I do, I will cite it and tell you who it came from. All right. I'm hearing you're fake or fraudulent. Obviously, you haven't watched the trancing. You haven't watched the light language codes. You haven't watched the feeling that transpires during that. So you saw one thing that you didn't like. You compared it with something else that you think is true, and now I'm fake. Why? Why do we need to shoot poison darts like that? Right? Why do we need to do that? Why do we need to use those words to explain someone? Who is? YouTubers, comments, people commenting on this channel, people that supported my work, not just trolls either, although I get plenty, but And then, like, you infiltrate my channel with tags and links to other teachers. Don't do that. I'm a growing channel. My channel can't compete with someone who has 100, 200,000 subscribers. That's not professional, and it's not nice. I know you like other teachers, but go to their channels if you want to talk about their stuff or link to their stuff. Don't try to sway people away to other people's channels when I work so hard to keep the subscribers here. It's not respectful. I'm not saying those teachers are good or bad or right or wrong or that I like them. I don't even know them. This is my channel. It is about my work. I don't want links to other teachers on my stuff because it doesn't help me grow my channel. It is a dog eat dog world, and I'm a small person compared to what's out there in my teaching. Small, very few people know me, right? Kind of like it that way, which is another interesting energy block I need to work through. And I am. But what I don't like is you coming into my Facebook and my YouTube, like linking to other things and talking about other things. Keep that on other people's channels. Go tell that other teacher. I'm sure they would love the support. I don't really need to know it. It just distracts me. And then the other thing is you censor too much. I actually do that for you. I censor because my comments aren't going to be full of conspiracy theories and QAnon. My comments aren't going to be full of links to your work, to what you've experienced. I've had people trying to support themselves and get their own followers in my comments. Yeah. Have you read this? Have you done that? Advice about my health. I'm not looking for any of that. I'm a new person to this work comparatively, even though I've been here since 2016. So here are some of the things I love about what you've said and how you've supported me lately, and I greatly appreciate. You tell me what you did. Some of you are saying, "I did that practice. I listened to your activations, and this is what happened, and this is what I saw, and this is what I felt." And that was really good. That was really, really beautiful. Thank you for sharing those experiences that you're having about my work, because that lets me know that the work it's reaching people and that it's working for you. I love that. You make suggestions of who I should channel, and I like that. I like to know if there's a teaching you're interested in and you wanna know the truth in it and how it really works. If you have a question about universal law or any cosmic teachings, I'm always interested in it in the comments, and I have been seeing a lot of that. Um, and no, I don't know that it's a lesson of letting go. Someone just said it's a lesson of letting go, and it's my journey. I don't know that it is. I believe that it is a lesson of me speaking up, right? I believe it is a lesson of me pointing out what I will and will not tolerate on my channel. You know, it's a lesson of boundaries. There's so many things, but I don't think it's a lesson of letting go. I've been trying that for years. Yeah. So, yeah. Um, oh, that's good feedback. Thanks for sharing that with me, that the light language activation with the dolphins and the Syrians helped your headaches. It does help headaches. I struggle a lot with strong migraines, and I noticed that that particular light language is an activation to release all sorts of things in the crown chakra. Yeah. Just reading some of your comments now. But what I have appreciated is your suggestions for who you want to hear from and how the channeling or how the teaching affected you, right? Um, and I want to be able to help. I want to be able to connect here at least twice a week. But as you've noticed, it's been a lot less lately because of these kind of comments. So, um, oh, someone said, "Love this straight talk. You are amazing. Thank you." Yeah. Well, I'm authentic, that's for sure. Yeah. Felt like I was with the mermaids, someone said. It felt like ancient Syrian beings before they were even labeled as dolphins. That's what it felt like for me in doing that particular activation. Yeah. I'm glad you're taking notes on all the light codes and practicing. They are for you. They are for the public. You can use them with your own clients, healers. They're not just mine. They're like all of ours. So I wasn't going to go on and do this light codes because my voice has been really struggling lately with singing, but I did them anyway. So thank you for being there for them. Yeah. All of them are light language. It's not just spoken. It's the singing is light language. The spoken parts are light language. The hand signs are light language. All of it are light language codes and activations. Every last bit of it. Yeah. I struggle with this in a sense because all of my music is light language, except the mantra music. I even put some light language on my second and third albums, and I labeled it as such. But I just stopped labeling it as such just to see what you would do. But all of my music is light language. Yeah, unless it's a mantra. Yeah. The light codes aren't meant to be understood up here. Someone said she doesn't understand light codes. Light codes are either symbols that you visualize and utilize in your meditations, or they're codes that you create with your hands when you're singing light language. So, oh my goodness. Anne, she said, I'm recovering from the virus at the moment. And your light code says I went to sleep really helped. I do feel better today. Ah, thanks. Lavender Lighthouse says, thanks for addressing the disrespect. I'm glad I'm not the only one seeing it. Teachers are getting some flack lately, and we are working hard. Channels are working hard. There's less authenticity out there in channeling and spiritual teaching than I've ever seen before. So I understand where you're coming from. Because I tell you what, if you look up channeling on YouTube right now and you just go into thing, you can just feel like a lack of presence there. And there's a lot of stuff out there that just isn't authentic. So I feel your pain with that, and I don't like it. I can't stop it, though, is the thing. And I need you to find the teachers and channels that are authentic for you and stick with that. Stick with it. Like keep your listening list, your playlist of channels small, and don't support all of this upcoming age of everyone saying they can channel. No, not everyone can channel. I used to really believe that everyone could do it. But what I've learned is, yeah, everyone can do it, but it takes years of training, not just in your talent, but in ethics, in discernment, in trust, in acceptance, in forgiveness, in, oh my gosh, energy hygiene. I could keep going and going and going with all the training that I am constantly doing to stay aligned, stay in truth, stay clear, right? To be a clear channeling. I don't care if you only watch me or if you have a list of, whatever, but I would suggest making the list smaller. And if I'm not on it after today, it's okay. But make your list smaller so that you can align with you, and that channels are teaching you things that bring you back to yourself. Not to what you think about the government, not to truths in this world. You won't find much truth in this world. That's not where it is. That's not where spirituality is. The truth starts with you. Right? So listen to channels and teachers that align you to that, and make your list small. Be very discerning. Right? Yeah. Oh, Vibrating Goddess said, I don't do Patreon, but I signed up just for you. Thank you for that. I know it's a big ask, but I will tell you, I've been there since 2017. And with Patreon, there are, dare I say, like hundreds of channelings that aren't on here, hundreds of teachings that aren't on here. It's a lot.
Years.
Yeah, years worth of channelings. And I work typically like 2 to 3 times a week, 2, sometimes 3 times a week. I'm putting something on there, not including what I'm putting on here. So you get like triple the amount of what you would get on YouTube, things that you have not seen before. And I'm growing that library. Every week, there's 2 to 3 new things that I'm putting up. So that library is growing and growing and growing. So thank you for joining that. And thank you for listening here today. And just, I can feel how hard you're trying to hold space for me right now so that I won't cry. And I am so appreciative of that because this was really hard to talk about. There's always the threat of losing subscribers. There's always the threat of, no, you don't trust me anymore. But it did have to be said. So thank you for coming here today in the middle of your day and holding space for me. So I really, really appreciate that. Okay. And I guess I'm going to go finish out the rest of my day, and I got to get some more work done for you guys. Right. And I appreciate you so much. We'll be on here next. I've got a couple of beings lined up that I can't decide because I put out a kind of a suggestions thread in my YouTube community posting. And I got so many things, but there are only a few people that came, but 2 of them are musicians. Yeah, so that was super exciting. So now I'm trying to decide between the 3 people that are around me. They are Michael Jackson, Prince, and this is who I really want to channel next, Thich Nhat Hanh. So what do you think? Who do you want next? Michael Jackson, Prince, or Thich Nhat Hanh? I know, not even in the same categories. All 3 of them are so different. But those are the 3 that have been coming. Yeah.
Put up a public vote on Patreon.
Yeah, you know what? I'll put up a public vote on my Patreon page. You can follow some things. I do have some free things on there too. It's not all paid. So on the public free part, if you go to the Patreon link at the top, I will put a poll and I will make it public for everyone to vote on. Everybody's saying MJ. I knew you would. Thich Nhat Hanh. I want to, but I don't even know how many people on my channel know who Thich Nhat Hanh is. I adore him. But I don't know if that's a Patreon thing or a YouTube thing with Thich Nhat Hanh. Yeah, might be a Patreon thing. Melchizedek, gosh, I channel him all the time and I just don't talk about it. But I actually have a lot of Patreon classes. I have a psychic surgeon technique, psychic surgery technique from Melchizedek on my Patreon channel. It's amazing. It's called the Melchizedek Hand. Yeah. Yeah, you didn't know Thich Nhat Hanh transition? He did. And I've been just kind of patiently waiting, and I thought I would give it more time because that is the respectful thing to do. But he's here. Princess Diana did not come to me for many, 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 many years. For some reason, Thich Nhat Hanh's here now. Michael Jackson, same thing. Prince, same thing. Didn't come for many, 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 many years. So Melchizedek, I've got just so many channelings on Patreon already. So of him and of his work, so much from that. And even some of Alice Bailey's teachings in regards to his work. There's like so much there. But those are the 3. So I will put out a public poll for that for you guys to decide who I'm going to channel next. What about the Twitch thing? Oh my gosh, I looked into it. Yeah, I looked into it. And you could probably suspect what I'm going to say. Yeah. Some of these things I can't talk about on YouTube. They'll take me out. They'll delete my videos. Yeah. I won't say anymore. Not today. Bless him though. Have you ever channeled Seth? Yes, I have 2 different classes and channelings with Seth material and channeling Seth on Patreon. I have so much there you wouldn't believe. I have a whole story with Thich Nhat Hanh that I will share with you one day about his death. So I'll put up that poll here soon, probably today. Keep an eye on it. And you know what? I'll put the link. The link is at the top of the chat to be able to vote for it. But have I channeled Babaji? I did, and it was so powerful. I haven't done it publicly, but I have channeled him privately for a close friend of mine who was a client at one time. And he is a Yogananda disciple, excuse me, and a really strong healer. And I would channel Babaji only for him. And we don't work together anymore. So, yeah, that was been a long time ago, but I did. All right, I'm going to go Thank you for taking this in stride and for holding space for me for this difficult conversation. Okay. I'll see you really, really soon. I think the next thing I have tomorrow is channeling the Lemurians, and it's about healing ancestral karma so that we can move forward and not make the same mistakes, which we are currently making, to follow in the Atlantean Lemurian footsteps of pain. So it's all about healing our ancestral karma so that we don't repeat patterns. That's tomorrow at 1 on Patreon. And then I believe Thursday or Friday, I'm not sure which one, is channeling the 3 wise men. So that's more of a, who were they? What do they really know that we don't? You know, what was the birth really like? What did they really know of Jesus? It has a Gnostic slant. So you will appreciate that Gnostic slant, I'm sure. I'll see you soon. I love you. Bye-bye.